Back to another episode of Uncontested Sports on this Tuesday night, June 14th. Jordan, Joe, and Ringle, as always, we were gone for quite some time, but the three of us are back, and we have a lot going on in sports. I think the last time we came to you guys for Uncontested Sports, the Rangers were like beginning of the first round, and now here we are.
Probably true.
I don't think they were playing Carolina yet.
Yeah, I don't think they were playing Carolina either. Yeah, and now here we are sitting on June 14th.
I think I remember they were down 3-1 to
were they
to Pittsburgh.
It had to be
I think
early on in the Pittsburgh round. But yep, Rangers pushed it all the way to the conference finals. We're going to talk about their playoff run and how it came to an end at the hand of the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning. The two best teams in baseball right now is the Yankees and the Mets. So good time to be a New York sports fan. Rangers made it to the conference finals, get eliminated. Yankees and Mets still going on now. The Yankees up 2-0 against the Rays, but Cole is struggling in the top of the fifth. And the Mets are up 3-0 against the Brewers. And I don't even know what inning of the Mets are in.
Fourth? I think it's fourth. And by the way, the last time we did a show, the Rangers had just won Game 7. So we knew that they were playing the Hurricanes.
Yeah. Okay.
I was a week behind.
It's been a while.
All right. And then we'll finish up the show talking about the NBA Finals. Golden State took a 3-2 series lead last night as they go back to Boston for Game 6. Before we get into that, follow us on Twitter at UncontestedPod, Instagram at @Uncontested_pod. Listen to us through Twitter Spaces. You can listen to the audio and join the conversation, or you can just watch our faces live through our Twitter account as well. And then right after the show, you can listen to the show wherever you get your streaming podcast from, whether it be Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music, you name it, whatever you find it on. So we are starting today's show with talk about the Rangers. Their season came to an end on Saturday night. The Rangers run. So this Rangers run was similar to that Islanders run in 2020 in that it was very improbable and out of nowhere. The way the Rangers played in that first round against Pittsburgh, I didn't even think they should have got out of the first round, let alone to Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. So that first round, they scored a lot of timely goals. They never died without. They always went down. Never went down without a fight, and they took advantage of a Penguin team playing with the third-string goalie in net. But hey, that's not their fault. So they come back and beat the Penguins. Now they got the Hurricanes, and the Hurricanes jump out to a 2-0 lead. And the Rangers again don't go down without a fight, and they keep battling in the series. They force it to Game 7 in Carolina, and they just soundly put away Carolina in Game 7. And again, you're going up against a backup goalie. But again, to the Rangers' credit, they did what they had to do. They came back from a 2-0 series hole in round 2, and they won in 7. And they kept fighting. Now you go up against Tampa. And I said this about Carolina, that like, Carolina's going to be a different animal than Pittsburgh, especially without Louis Domingue in net. But Carolina had their own problems. Carolina was atrocious on the road. Antti Ranta was played good, not great, as a backup goalie. But now you're playing Tampa. And Tampa's a two-time defending Stanley Cup champion, and they just mopped the Panthers in a series sweep in round 2. The Lightning came into that series in the conference finals on a 9 days rest when the Rangers were coming in fresh. And that argument could go either way. Would you rather be fresh, 9 days rest, or would you rather be coming in right off of a Game 7 and you're not getting any rest and you're just keeping the engine going? That debate can go either way, but that's a debate for a different day. We'd literally waste the whole show talking about would you rather be rested or not rested going into a new series. So Lightning came into the first 2 games in the Garden kind of on their heels, kind of with like we call in hockey when we travel for tournaments with the bus legs. They didn't look like the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Rangers mopped them in the first 2 games. 2-0 series lead, and I had to see the entire hockey world, including Ranger fans, making plans for the Stanley Cup Finals. You took a 2-0 series lead against a Tampa team that had 9 days rest. That's not the Tampa Bay Lightning. I had to see, Vasilevsky's figured out he's washed. This isn't the same Tampa Bay Lightning team of the past 2 years. They've finally hit their wall. This is a team of destiny. This Ranger team is unstoppable. The kid line, the shift. Shesterkin's back. Shesterkin was back after a terrible first round. He played phenomenal in the playoffs. But there I was sitting idly by saying, this is the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is not going to happen again, these first 2 games. And what happened between games 3 and 6? Tampa Bay dominated the Rangers, won 4 straight. The scores may have been close, but the score was not indicative of the play of the game. The Rangers looked outmatched. Vasilevsky was nearly impossible to beat, like he is, because he's the best goalie in the league. No matter what the Rangers fans chant, he's the best goalie in the league. If you let up 2 goals in a game, you probably were going to lose when you're facing the Lightning and Vasilevsky. The role players of the Lightning stepped up. The big name player, Stamkos, with 2 goals in the game 6 winner against the Rangers, and the Rangers looked outmatched. Their big guns had no answer. 5-on-5, they had no answer. The power play was fantastic all playoff long. If it wasn't for the power play, they wouldn't be in the position they were in the Eastern Conference Final. But they couldn't do anything 5-on-5. Shesterkin had to stand on his head, and the Lightning, because they're a great team and a great playoff experienced team, got timely goals, and now they're going to their 3rd straight Stanley Cup final against the Avalanche, and the Rangers are going home after an improbable run that came to an end after everyone was getting their Stanley Cup tickets getting planned after game 2.
No, Vaz completely turned it on in those final 4 games. I mean, they won the last 4. They held the Rangers to 1 goal in each of the last 3 games. I mean, if that's not Vaz, then who is it? I think this Ranger team, they did a good job. They did what they had to do. Yeah, like Jordan mentioned, you can say that like Pittsburgh wasn't Pittsburgh, and the Hurricanes, they didn't even see Frederik Andersen that whole series. So yeah, maybe it would have been different. Maybe they would have been out earlier. But the Rangers did what they had to do. But this Lightning team, yeah, I think we said it before the playoffs started that Vaz didn't even have a Vaz type of season. Normally, he's in the low 2s. With his goal average, and he was kind
of low this year too.
And, yeah,
but it's still a good season.
No, still a good season. Like, we're not trashing Vasilevsky at all. But he looked like the Vasilevsky. I'm not even gonna say Vasilevsky of old, because that doesn't even mean that. I'm not saying he's not washed up of any kind, but just he went back to being as dominant as we know him to be.
You know, he looked rough. The whole team looked rough for Tampa in those first 2 games. But it's playoff experience against inexperience on the Rangers' part. The guys that were stepping up all playoff long were not able to combat the Lightning. The kid line was thrown into a box, shaken up, and it turned into darts on a dartboard when it came to line combinations as that series went on. Gerard Gallant didn't have his finest moments. He kind of looked outgunned. I said this I think when they hired Gallant, I said this throughout the season. In his past with Vegas and the Panthers, he has a great season. His first year or 2 with his new team is great. But when it comes to the playoff time, he gets figured out. And then before you know it, he's on to his next team. And he got figured out by a much better coach in John Cooper. You have the big controversy with Capo Caco out being scratched. And now he's an RFA. So who knows what they're going to do with Capo Caco. They got to re-sign Vetrano and I believe Kopp as well. And then you see underperformances by specifically Panarin. I mean, point-wise, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't what you expected. Maybe he's hurt, because you always find that out, that guys are hurt at the end of it. Speaking of hurt, guys like Ryan Lindgren, I feel like every game we were seeing this guy take a shot to the wrist, a shot to the ankle, take a bad hit. The guy was glass bones and paper skin at one point, and he just kept fighting through it. You got to be happy with performances like Kreider and Zibanejad. Keandre Miller played fantastic. Shesterkin, after a terrible first round, he was the reason why the Rangers even made it to Game 6 in the Eastern Conference Finals. Because they could have easily been knocked out by Carolina, but the only way the Rangers make a run is if you have the Shesterkin of normal in net, and he came alive in the last 2 rounds. But my God, after those first 2 games, it was unbelievable. The reaction I had to see from the hockey world, that it was a foregone conclusion. It was Rangers Avalanche in the finals. It was unbelievable. Nice. And from game 3 to game 6, the Rangers were just outmatched completely by
their
Tampa.
Offense just ran out of steam. They scored 8 5-on-5 goals in the first 2 games alone, and then only 1 5-on-5 goal the rest of the way. So, I mean, you got to be able to weather the storm, I feel like, when you're a team like that. And they did so for a while, and then it just gave out on them. And that's a big reason why. I mean, I'm not the biggest hockey fan, but even I know that Igor Shesterkin was doing everything that he could to keep them in it. Kind of came close to forcing a Game 7. He played well in Game 6.
It was a 1-1 game. for 20 seconds.
And wasn't one of those goals like he stopped it, but it took a bad bounce,
It was
right?
the game winner, yeah. The game
so
winner.
just a bad way to go. But it was a great run. I feel like if you're a Ranger fan, you got to be very pleased with what you got. So
you said it was a 1-1 game for 20 seconds just now. I felt like the Lightning, especially in these last 4 games, I felt like the Lightning did that a lot to the Rangers.
Timely goals.
Yeah, just right as soon as the Rangers put up one, they went right back and answered, and that was the killer for the Rangers. They could not let those up.
And the experience that the Tampa Bay Lightning have allows them to kind of play more calm, right? I mean, they don't get flustered. They've been through this before. They've been in that position before in the Eastern Conference Finals. So that pays off. Experience pays off, and it did for them.
And Tampa Bay came in this round. They swept Florida, but it wasn't easy. They were down 3-2 in the first round against Toronto, had to win 2 straight, and especially Game 7 on the road in Toronto where they shut them out. And you sweep the Panthers. Hey, that's no tough task. Panthers, did they win the President's Trophy or did Colorado win it? I don't know off the top of my head. One of those 2 teams did. They sweep the Panthers, and it's the timely goals from a well-experienced team that's been there before, and they know how to handle adversity in the playoffs. And I just had a feeling after Vetrano got that power play goal. I just had a feeling. I'm like, I feel like Tampa's going to come back quick and get one. And it took 20 seconds. That was a clean goal. The first replay showed it. I'm like, that's a clean goal. No interference whatsoever. Ow, my finger. I'm picking on a dead skin right here. And I just
let the people know, Jordan.
Yeah. Ow, because that hurt.
Show them. Let them see.
You can't see crap. You can't see anything right now. You can't see anything right now. But as always, we are live on Twitter Spaces, and we always take requests. My dad is going to willing to chime in. Thank you, Sharp. The Panthers won the President's Trophy on that input. But hey, Dad, what's going on? Welcome back.
Gentlemen, it's been a while. How are you?
How you doing?
Good. I missed you guys.
Yes,
I just wanted to jump in real quick about this Rangers here. They went up 2-0. Jordan, you're 100% right. Even down here, they were talking about the Rangers, not just going to the Stanley Cup Finals, where the parade's going to be. So they're up 2-0, and then they promptly lose 4 straight. So, your theory's right, and I believe that too. The Tampa was over-rested, if you will. Okay, there's a debate. You could debate that all you want, but they were over-rested. And then before they knew it, they were down 2-0. So, and then they turned it on. And what's that guy's name, Jordan? Kucherov or what's his
Kucherov.
Nikita Kucherov.
That guy is tremendous. I watched every one of those games. That guy's a great stick handler. He's got eyes behind his head. He's really a great player. As far as the goalie for the Rangers, he did have a great playoff run, but in the Game 6, don't you think he blew that game?
I gotta think back to Game 6. What happened here?
No, the Game 6. Look at the 2 goals. The first goal he gave up. He should have never gave it up. The guy shot from the point.
Yeah, those 2 goals he went up. They were 2 point shots through screens, and the second one I believe hit a body in front.
The second one, Jordan, it was in his glove. The puck pot.
Oh no, the second.
Yeah,
for Game 7. Are you talking about Game 7 or Game 6?
Game 6
won
was
6 games. They won 6 games.
Oh yeah. Oh my
God.
No, Game 5. I was thinking about Game 5. My bad. Game 6. The first goal. I don't even remember the first goal. How
the first goal was right above the point. The face-off point, whatever you call the circle.
Yeah, face-off. Yeah.
It was near the boards. I forgot who shot it. Oh, it was Stamkos. Stamkos got both goals, right?
Yeah.
He shot it. It went to the glove side.
Yeah.
Right over.
Yeah, because I'm watching the highlights right now. Oh yeah, that
was
goal.
A weak goal, don't you think?
It's a shame because he played so good, but you cannot let up. You can get away with that goal against the Penguins in the first round and possibly get away with letting up that goal against Carolina in the second round. But you cannot let up that goal in a winner-go-home game against Tampa. That's a bad goal to let up. And the second one.
And how about the second goal?
Yeah, he's got to glove that. He's got to glove it.
Literally in his hand. The save's in his hands.
And it popped out, hit Stamkos in the leg or the hip, and it went in.
Yeah, so that's both those goals are on the goalie. The guy had a decent. I know he's going to win. I forgot. There's so many different. Yeah, there's so many different names for the. What is the Lady Bird trophy?
The Lady Bing.
What the hell is that?
The Lady Bing. It's like it's the best 2-way forward. in the league. I'm pretty
Everybody
sure.
gets the trophy now.
I
Right?
even get
Everybody gets
no,
a trophy.
no. These awards have been in the league forever. The Lady Bing
Yeah,
Award.
I know. I get that.
I get confused sometimes with the some of the trophy. It presented to the player best to have exhibited the best. Never mind.
Got it.
Best sportsmanship. No. It's the best sportsmanship. So like best leadership in the league. And who I forgot who won it.
Parise.
No,
Parise got it.
No, Parise won the Islanders have a similar award. It's called the Bob Nystrom Award. And
each team have their own.
Kyle Connor won the Lady Bing Award.
It's just crazy. Why can't they have normal names? And what's the MVP?
MVP
name?
is the Art Ross is the most goals in the league.
No,
the
it's
Conn
not
Smythe
there.
is the playoff MVP. The MVP is the Hart Trophy, the Hart Memorial Trophy.
The Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
The
can't.
Lady Bing is the best player in the league who has the best sportsmanship, but also is really good. So you can have like good sportsmanship, but if you're like a fourth
It's
line
like
guy, you're not
the
going to win it.
It's like that. Is that like the Walter Payton Award? Or?
The Walt, the Walt, similar
I
Walt,
guess you can compare it.
Then
to that.
there's the Selke,
Yo,
the
there's
Selke Award.
So many trophies.
The Selke
I'm
is
looking
the
at 'em
two-way
right now.
forward. The
There's
Selke
so
is the
many.
two-way forward. The Ted Lindsay Award. So there's technically two MVP trophies in hockey. There's the Sharp reminded me of this one. The Hart Memorial is the main MVP. Voted by I'm pretty sure the players are so I forgot who votes for it, but that's the main one.
Players, maybe.
No. Because the Ted Lindsay is the MVP voted by the players. So, but that's not the main MVP.
There are 21 trophies that they give.
But
out in hockey.
the main one, the main
21.
hockey trophies are the Hart Memorial, the MVP voted by maybe like the writers. I don't even know. The Lady Bing, the Norris, which is the best defenseman, the Vezina, which is the best goalie, the Selke, which is the best two-way player, the Art Ross, the most goals in the league. I'm trying to think. That's like mainly the main ones. Maybe you could say the Jennings Trophy. It's not as important, but the Jennings Trophy is the best goalie. The team with the least goals against in the league, it goes to the goalie.
Oh God, they go overboard
Yeah.
with these trophies. It's like, you got the President's Trophy, and when I heard Lady Bing, I thought it was a joke.
No, these awards have been in the league forever.
Oh no, I
Ever.
believe you.
Yeah.
Oh,
The Lady Bing
yeah,
goes
there's-
back to 1925. Frank Neighbor.
Yeah, there's a big tradition with that, but like Joey said, there's like 21 trophies.
With these trophies, do they separate it with East and West, or is
No,
it?
it's the whole league.
It's
Oh,
only,
please.
so I was gonna say, at least with the MLB, if they have too many awards, at least it's an AL Cy Young, NL Cy Young, AL MVP, and this is not like that, and it's just everyone's grouped into one, and they still have this.
It's
many.
very redundant because you have like the Mark Messier NHL Leadership Award, and that one is given to the player who exemplifies great leadership on and off the ice. But it's
That's maybe Walter
picked,
Payton.
It's
That's
picked
Isn't
by
that the Lady
no.
Bing?
It's picked by Messier. But then you have the NHL Foundation Award.
Okay, do you know how in sports there's a lot of like minor awards, like the Walter Payton Awards, not like the giant awards. There's a lot of minor awards in hockey. There's like the five big ones: the Lady Bing, the Selke, the Art Ross, the Hart Memorial,
Oh,
the
Lady
Vezina, and
Bing's
the
one of
Norris.
the big ones.
Yeah, it's one of the big ones.
Oh.
Yeah. So like six.
wow.
So Lady Bing for sportsmanship at high standard of playing. The Selke is the best two-way forward. Norris best defenseman. Vezina best goalie. Hart Memorial MVP. And
Conn Smythe.
Conn Smythe's the best is the MVP of the playoffs. That's
But-
That's playoffs. That I know.
But according to NHL, like they prioritize six. They prioritize the Stanley Cup, the President's Trophy, the Prince of Wales Trophy.
These are teams. These are teams trophies.
Right, but
What's the Prince-
these seem to be
these are the
Who
teams
wins the
top of
Prince
their
of
list.
Wales?
That's
What's the
it's,
Prince of
that's either
Wales?
the Eastern Conference winner or the Western
it's
Conference
Eastern
winner.
Conference.
So the
Western
Tampa-
Conference is Clarence S.
Oh,
Campbell.
So Tampa Bay has won the Prince of Wales the past 3 years, and Colorado won the Campbell Trophy.
The trophies are sick looking though.
Yeah, no, they're pretty awesome.
They're
they're
really
huge.
cool.
beautiful trophy.
You know, yeah. So you have the team trophies for like
They're
Eastern
huge.
Conference winner, Western Conference, and the Stanley Cup. But the main individual ones is I think five: Lady Bing, Selke, Hart, Vezina, Norris.
The Eastern Conference trophy was huge. Nobody, and the Western Conference gets the same one, I guess.
Yeah,
They were
they're big
All right,
trophies.
yeah. One quick last thing. I know you guys got a full pack show. Professional sports. What you guys, any one of you, what's the best All-Star game?
Baseball.
Yeah. Right now, yeah, I would say baseball.
I would say baseball too, just because
Baseball, right?
it's it can be played lax, like kind of laxy daisy, kind of unlike football.
How do you
No,
play
it can't.
baseball?
No, you
Lackadaisical?
can't. No, that's why it makes baseball great. The All-Star game so great. You can't play lackadaisy in baseball. You can't. A pitcher can't go up there and just be.
I'm not saying he's throwing
like
50 miles an
BP.
hour. Yeah,
Well,
no, I know, but
he can't go up there and throw 80-mile-per-hour fastballs.
I guess I mean like it's not. There's no contact, so I guess that they could still
What do you
play
mean
their
there's
game.
No contact.
Like it's not a contact sport, so they don't
I
have to
thought
play.
you meant like swing.
Yeah, no.
Is the question what's the best All-Star game or what's the best just group of All-Star activities that every league has?
No activities, no
Okay,
home run
just the
derby, no
game,
slam
okay.
dunk, just the actual game.
I really enjoy the NBA All-Star game, but I'm biased. I'm a big NBA fan.
But
I
there's
think
no competitive aspect.
But
to it
it's not
whatsoever.
competitive.
Whatsoever.
It's not-
Baseball,
the reason
from the
I
first
asked this,
pitch,
I
it's
heard-
competitive.
as a fan, I enjoy it though.
That's the point I'm
I heard
trying to
on the
make
radio,
is that
guys comparing the NBA All-Star game, competitive this now, to baseball.
It's a
It was
glorified dunk contest for 3 quarters. And how long's a quarter in basketball? 12 minutes?
Mhm.
For 3 quarters and 10 minutes.
Well,
it's a glorified
They've
dunk
made
contest.
adjustments to make it more competitive, the way that they score it.
Mhm. But again, you have to wait to the back
Oh,
end of the
yeah,
game
you're
for it
right,
to
but
really
still,
get competitive.
You're right.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that if you're a true fan of the game, it's a treat to watch all those guys on the court at the same time. So maybe I'm just looking at it through a different lens.
It's a treat to watch all the football players on the field too, but it's really
dude,
boring.
the
It's more like an
NFL
exhibition, the other games.
And it's a
Pro-
treat
the
to
Pro
watch
Bowl
3v3 hockey, but that game gets so.
Well, the Pro Bowl is a different story. I don't think the Pro Bowl is horrible.
What-
They're going to get
Yeah.
rid of that,
They're-
right,
yeah,
Joey?
they're trying to
Yeah,
move on from
they
it.
what
should.
separates baseball is that it's not a contact sport. It's the least of the four, because like you're literally face to face in every other sport with the opponent. Baseball, there's a lot of separation on the field, so you're able to swing the bat and do what you would normally do. When NBA, when you're facing an All-Star game, you're giving them the room. You're not going to be as on top of them. Same thing with hockey. Same thing with the Pro Bowl. So I guess that's why
But that's just
baseball gets the win.
it's just
there.
different because the sports are just completely different by nature.
Yeah.
I mean, in a contact sport like football or basketball, you're obviously not going to do things that you would to kind of risk injury. But in baseball,
Right.
it's everybody is kind of
you can be a
in
little
their
more
own
free.
space. Yeah. And if you get hurt,
But
then it's kind of just
Joe-
bad luck.
Joe, you're a basketball fan. Don't you think, wouldn't you agree that the NBA All-Star game itself, wasn't it more competitive years ago? For
Oh,
some reason, I
yeah.
know the scores were high,
Yeah.
but I think it was more, now it's like.
Haven't they done the
just-
last couple years where they're like making each quarter its own
they,
game?
Yeah, they completely changed it. And they have a target score that they have to reach now
Right.
by the end of the game. And I think that change has improved the game. But yeah, overall, I think it's taken a dive in terms of competitiveness. And I think that's just the way that guys coming into the league are nowadays about that. I mean, you got people that they take games off, right, to load manage and to make sure that they're healthy. And they don't see the All-Star game as an opportunity to, like, I don't know, go 110% because they're just trying to preserve their health. And so a lot of guys don't even show up for it anymore. It's just not that big of a deal.
Right,
They have bigger priorities. They have more important things to worry about than that. That's why hundreds of players who should have been in the NBA dunk contest don't even answer the call because it's just not something that they're focused on.
I'm not defending the games. I'm saying I don't get the hate on all these All-Star games because obviously they're not that fun to watch. But what do you expect?
That's
like
what
as
I'm
a
saying.
fan,
Take
like
it for what it is.
take it for what it is. You're not sitting there.
Oh, yeah.
You're not sitting there watching the game hoping to see a great competition between the AL and the NL or the two sides.
It's extra.
You're just
It's fluff.
it's just an
It's
extra
fluff.
thing. It's something they
Oh,
got to
yeah.
do. I'm not
100%.
expecting to see hard hits in football or anything. It's just there. If I throw it on for a couple minutes, I throw it on. If I don't,
But
I
even
don't.
football, Michael, football used to be more competitive, Pro Bowl, I believe, years ago.
It
I mean,
probably
they didn't-
was. It probably
Yeah.
was. But
They didn't sack quarterbacks and stuff. I don't know.
it's just the
crazy.
media and like everyone on Twitter loves to hate it. It's just a cool thing to do to hate it, and like
Yeah.
and rightfully so to a point. But like I'm not gonna get overwhelmingly upset about how bad the product is on the field because first of all, 3 out of the 4 get played mid-season, so you can't expect them to go hard and get injured and ruin the rest of their season. And then the Pro
Yeah.
Bowl is just whatever. It used to be a vacation in Hawaii for them, but I mean now they play it in the States. They don't go overseas with that, but
Yeah, I went
What?
years ago. I
What?
went with Alex to
Hawaii's in the
Orlando.
States.
in the States. But I mean, like, it is in the States. I know, but I mean, like, it
Or
used to be
choice of words.
Hawaii's more of a vacation spot than
It's
Florida.
not overseas.
I know.
It's on a different continent.
I didn't mean it that. I didn't mean it that way. But yeah,
Jordan's taking literal.
Yeah,
I didn't mean it that way. I meant it more like a vacation spot.
I know, but you had terrible.
Yeah, I
choice
said
of
it.
words.
I said it poorly, 100%. But yes,
They go to the All-Star. They go to the Pro Bowl. They're
gentlemen,
on
thanks for the
deployment.
time.
They're
I'll
on
drop
deployment.
off.
Thanks for calling in.
Thanks for
I'll
calling,
drop off
Dad.
and listen.
All right.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
We got the Yankee game on the iPad right here. They were showing the Yankee booth. It looked like Brendan Burke was in the booth. The Islanders play-by-play. There was a guy that looked just like him, but he wasn't like he was like standing behind Michael Kay. So I don't know.
Your dad hasn't called in a while, didn't he? He missed a couple.
Well, Joe, we haven't done a show. In a
No.
while.
In addition to those 2 weeks, I don't think he called
I
the
don't
last
remember.
time.
I don't.
It's been a
remember.
while.
I have no idea. All right, well, the Mets just took a 4-0 lead against the Brew Crew. It's a toss-up here. Who do we go to first? Who do we go to? I guess we're in Joe's new house, so we'll go Joe's new apartment. We'll go to what's it called?
Sure, we can talk Mets first.
We'll talk about the.
Or do we
Mets.
want to save the best for last and go Yankees and then
That makes no sense because the best is wouldn't be going last then, Joe. I don't know where-
records are just numbers. It's no indication.
It's not
of
a
how
big
you're-
deal,
it's no
right?
indication of how you're
So I
playing.
guess you could tell the Nationals 23-40 just a number. It's no different than 40-22, right?
Mhm.
Right, being 17 games back at first and being in first.
It's
not a
all
big deal.
it's all subjective.
It's all an
Age
opinion,
is just
yeah.
a number. Records are just
Regular's
a number.
just a number. So at the end of the season, like if the Mets had the best record in the NL, they don't have to make the playoffs.
Like all the
Doesn't
past
mean
years when we
Yeah,
were
let someone
below
else in.
500, we just didn't want to. We had other things to do besides
anything. You know, things
be
to
in
do.
the postseason.
I guess you don't have anything to do now that the Mets are 42-22.
Yes.
Yankees are having like a meltdown on the field right now. I
Hey,
think.
Garrett Cole looks upset.
Yeah, because he just threw a wild throw to second on a double
Why is
play
it that
ball.
pitchers cannot make throws to to first or second?
Because they're so accustomed to throwing
I-
one way.
I know that, but it still blows my mind that you're a professional athlete. You get paid millions of dollars to throw the ball.
Yeah, it blows
And-
my mind that NBA players can't make free throws or take jump shots.
Why are we doing this?
You brought it up, Joe.
I didn't bring up basketball.
Well, you brought up the MLB players are paid to throw the ball and they can't throw the ball. Basketball players are paid to shoot the ball and they can't make free throws or take a basic jump shot.
Yeah, but within
I'm-
those sports,
but-
some basketball players are paid to do other things.
But I'm
some
not-
baseball players are paid to
A
do other
basic
things.
thing of baseball is to throw the
Throw the
ball.
ball.
A
I'm
basic
true.
thing of
But
basketball is to shoot.
I
You can't
also
shoot.
did not argue.
You're
that.
not wrong, but it's just the way it is.
I'm also not arguing like in favor of basketball
I
players.
know you're
for
not.
missing.
I'm just stating. I'm just
All right,
saying.
well, it came off a little aggressive, so
because it's really dumb.
of course it is.
Like in hockey, everybody can do like everything. It's like unless it's a goalie, it's a different position. Like baseball, I don't expect the catcher to be able to like close out the ninth. You know, I find it weird. Like how Ben Simmons can't take a shot. I find that,
But he's still valued as
I
like a
can't.
very
Yeah,
good player.
exactly.
It's
He's a
weird.
hot
It's
commodity.
weird. Yeah, it's
like
weird.
Giannis like isn't like a good shooter, right?
Well, this
Not
is
known for shooting.
I think he's
But yet he's
average
the
at
best-
shooting, but he drives.
it shouldn't be a surprise though to you as to why Ben Simmons is a hot commodity. Ben Simmons, when healthy and on the floor, is an elite defender, and he's really good in transition. And we've seen what he can do when he plays consistently. Organizations, owners, coaches are enamored by talent. He has talent. We've seen this before with tons of other players who have problems off the floor, but are given second, third, fourth, fifth chances because we've seen what they can do. Ben Simmons is no different. So
I don't want to talk about Ben Simmons.
you brought Ben Simmons
Yeah,
up.
we don't have to go into a deep dialogue of Ben Simmons.
I'm not going into a deep dialogue. I'm just giving
Ah.
you my 2 cents. So there you have it.
Oh no,
You
I
may
understand
proceed.
why he's valued. I just don't.
No, you specifically said you don't understand why Ben Simmons is a hot commodity. So you don't understand why he's valued.
I said
I-
that. I said that
yes.
specifically. I
You
said
did.
I specifically said I don't understand why Ben
Yes.
Simmons is a hot commodity.
Yes, you did.
I said that
You
specifically.
said you said I don't
because
understand.
I was gonna say like I can understand why people
Specific.
like him, but
No, you
I
said
I
you
don't
s-
understand how he can't shoot the ball.
Yes, and then you said you didn't understand why he's a hot commodity.
Oh, I probably said that now because of now.
And I'm giving you my explanation
Because he's
for
a
why
disaster.
he's still a hot commodity, though.
Yeah, but I understand that, but
Dude,
he's a disaster now.
But organizations are willing to give disasters.
I know
chances.
they are. I know, but
Deshaun Watson, prime
but
example.
Deshaun Watson is still
That's
playing at a
off.
high
That's
level.
off the field.
He's still playing at a
yeah.
high level.
But-
Ben Simmons fell apart at
but-
this end of his Sixers run.
But that was just like that was such a small sample size, and we've seen what
You're
he's
right,
done over the
sure.
course of his career.
So the Mets are up 4-0.
Deshaun Watson didn't even play last season.
Yeah, but when he did play, he was really, really good. And when
and
Ben Simmons played at the
You
end of
can't
his
compare the two.
Ben Simmons had a few
compare
game
the two.
stretch in the postseason where he did not play well. It's not indicative of his career numbers at all.
Was it a few games? Stretch?
Yes.
Was it a few?
Yes.
games?
It was the tail end of that last postseason that he was with the Sixers.
I don't understand why he's a hot commodity now after he took a whole season off, made a scene in Philadelphia, and then faked an injury with the Nets so he didn't have to play.
When the
Game
podcast
6.
is over, you can replay what I said and you'll know why he's a hot
Oh,
commodity.
yeah, because you said he's great defensively. He has a great transition game. I understand
is.
he has those assets, but right now, I don't think he's
why.
a hot commodity now. I think he's an asset now. I think he could be an asset now. I've said this before. With Kevin Durant and Kyrie, I think he'll be very valuable as a number 3. But is he a hot commodity? I don't think he's a hot commodity. I think he's an asset.
He was a hot commodity if you trade James Harden for him.
James Harden was a shell of his former self, and
Yes.
still is a shell of his
Yes,
former self.
but even a shell of his former
'Cause they
self,
were-
he's still a good player
And
that can help you win
when
a
they trade,
championship.
I'm saying right now, Ben Simmons, I don't think is a hot commodity. At the time, it was still kind of unknown. Maybe we get the old Ben Simmons. He's a number 3 instead of a number 1 on this team. He's great defensively, which I kind of knew that, even though I'm not the biggest basketball fan. But right now, on June 14th, is he a hot commodity? I don't know. I think he's an asset.
I don't even know why we're talking about whether or not he's a
I
hot
was literally
commodity.
just gonna say,
because
how
like
did-
he's not
how
like
did we get
there's
on
no
Ben
rumors of there's no
Simmons?
I know.
rumors of
We
him
got
being,
on
like,
it
on the
because Joe
trade
said
block.
the thing about pitchers not being able to throw. I'm like, that's similar to like basketball players not being able to shoot. And then Joe got defensive.
And then obviously Ben
No,
Simmons
I didn't
is
get
in there.
defensive. You asked a question about Ben Simmons. I gave you my answer.
I didn't ask the question. I said, I don't understand why he's a hot commodity now.
I was
And then I
was
added-
enlightening you.
I added to it because he doesn't know how to shoot. And then Joe told me why he's a hot commodity. I'm like, I get why people valued him, but right now on this day, he's not a hot commodity.
I'm only going to say one thing.
I'm done talking about
Pete
this.
Alonso just tied Jose Ramirez for 59 RBIs, and it's the MLB RBI
and he
leader.
still has the same WAR as Jose Trevino. So on that point,
So
the
we're gonna go-
Yankees are up 2-0 right now on the
I don't know
Rays.
if
I thought we were
Maybe
talking Mets.
I don't know if I'm going to be
I had
able
a
to get
great
through
tra-
this.
I had
I was-
a great transition just there. All right, fine. We'll go with the Mets.
Well, we planned Mets, so that's why I threw a Mets stat in there.
Yeah, I know, but I
just
thought
didn't do it
I thought it'd
randomly.
be funny if I took a dig there at Pete Alonso.
That's fine.
But
Go.
anyway, so the Mets, as of late, they've had a tough schedule. That's very obvious. And going forward, they still have a tough schedule. They got the Brewers, they got the Astros in there, and I'm pretty sure it's another tough team as well involved. But regardless of this tough schedule before today and as of right now, the Mets are still thriving. They're playing very good baseball. The hitting still continues to be very good. It never took a dive. Despite missing their the best 2 pitchers in the league, the starting pitching's still been great. I don't love their bullpen. I still will never love their bullpen unless they add to it. But
I don't love it either.
right now, it's not nothing to get overly concerned about. Mets playing great baseball. After they what's it called? They dropped the second game to the Angels. It's like, oh, they were the team that gave they beat the Red Sox. So it was the Angels. Are they going to get momentum now after they finally took a win? The Angels. Nope. The Mets took care of business the next day. Went down early, 1-0, but then scored 4 and answered. But the Braves, despite the Braves winning 10 games in a row, and
12, I think.
12
in a row,
12
yep.
in a row. They erased 5.5 games. They're only 5 games back, but the Mets are still doing their job.
Mhm.
Are the Braves going to win 10 games in a row every month? No. So the Braves are going to get hot. The Braves are going to be the Braves. They have too much talent to play the way they were the first 2 months. So the Braves are going to be there all year, but the Mets are doing
Hopefully
what they
the
have.
Mets get hot as well.
But even
across
if
that time too.
all the Mets got to do, the Mets don't have to go on an insane run. The Mets don't have to play above their means what they're doing now. The Mets, as long as they just keep doing what they're doing, they'll be fine. But I think if you just keep doing what you're doing, that might not hold off the Braves, though.
I mean, I think that if the Mets just continue to win series and play consistently solid baseball, I think, like you said, that the Braves are not going to win 10 in a row. So, we built a big cushion, and it's proven helpful over the last few weeks. Mets had 22 games in 23 days. We went 14-8 in that span. All of those games were on the West Coast. That screws with you a little bit. And so I think you look at that and you say, okay, that was a successful road trip. We're back home now. And let's just kind of get our footing back to where it was prior. Continue to play good baseball despite all of the holes that have, popped up in our roster due to injury. And then if we can kind of withstand this storm for another 2-3 weeks, we get Scherzer back. Hopefully we get deGrom back. We're lucky that Pete Alonso and Starling Marte didn't miss time. We talked about that today, Ringle.
Mhm.
We had a lot of. We had like 3 close scares with 3
Yeah.
players. Lindor,
Yeah.
the door injury.
Mhm.
Pete, what was Pete's thing again?
Got hit
He
in the hand.
and then Scherzer got bit by. It's just 3 freak
It's like
Mets injuries that
it's
always
Mets,
happen.
It's Mets things.
And 3 of them were like, oh god, are they gonna miss a lot of
Well,
time?
Marte too. It's 4.
What was Marte's? Did he have a freak injury?
he had a hamstring. It was his
Hamstring? Yeah.
hamstring.
Oh,
He came
that's,
out.
But
that's just like a normal.
But they were still
baseball
they still were unsure at the time who was going to
I'm
hit the
talking
IL
about
or
like the
not.
weird,
Oh,
Met
weird
injuries,
stuff.
like
Okay, yeah.
Cespedes breaking his ankle
Yeah.
horseback riding. Whatever the hell he
Yeah.
was doing.
Yeah, that was
But
Scherzer.
go ahead, Joe.
There was also Brandon Nimmo. Also, I think something happened with Brandon, but he didn't really miss any time either. Yeah, no, it's just we talk about this all the time. Mets fans constantly wondering when the bottom's going to drop out. I think we've had sustained success longer than we've had in a little while, so it's just a matter of continuing to do what we've been doing. Strong pitching from the starters, Edwin Diaz at the back end, kind of close out games that we need to win. You know, a lot of good things for the Mets, but yes, a little bit of a tough stretch coming. We do have the Marlins at some point. Also, we didn't mention the Phillies. Phillies are playing well. I think they won.
They're both
They
playing well,
were
yeah.
on a 9-game winning
Yes.
streak, lost, and then won.
Yep. So, and here we go. Season snapshot for the Braves. Won each of last 12 games, plus 48 run differential during that span. But they just lost Ozzy Albies to a fractured left foot, so he's going to be out for a couple months. And Ronald Acuna Jr. is playing well. So, I mean, they are on the rise, and Mets fans and Mets in general should not feel comfortable because they will be coming. And yeah.
Before they were on the rise, yeah, we had like close to a 10-game lead or over a 10-game lead in this division. I still wasn't saying, okay, it's
Yeah, you
ours.
knew that
Like,
wasn't going to hold.
I'm not sitting here saying like that was ours. That's it. It's set in stone in June or May or
Because
whatever.
just like the Braves can
Yeah.
rise, the Mets can
the
fall.
Mets can fall. Exactly.
So we've seen it before.
Yeah, we've seen it for forever. We've seen it. But yeah, you mentioned Edwin Diaz, and I agree with Jordan. The bullpen is by far the weakest point of this team right now. They definitely need to address. I want to see them address it at the trade deadline. They definitely need to bring in at least 1 or 2 guys at the minimum to help them. I mean, you have Trevor May hurt, but he wasn't even that much of a help even when healthy.
He struggled a little bit.
Yeah, he's been struggling for the last couple seasons too, which is a little bit of a letdown. But Edwin Diaz, ever since coming into every time coming into a game this year, the Mets are 24-1, all the games that he's entered, which is insane compared to how he started his Mets career, and it's very good to see. But again, like even with him, we're so scarred that like we get to the postseason, I'm still gonna be scared he's gonna blow it. Like I'm still gonna sit there and be like, even though he's having a great season and he may very well end off the season great as he's playing now, but like that's always gonna be there a little bit for me, and like it is going away. It's not as much there, but like it's still a scary situation with him. But I do think he should be fine.
I know it's a good sign. I mentioned the starting pitching has been. I didn't Carrasco get roughed up the other day. I think he did. We were talking
a little
about that.
bit.
Yeah, he got roughed up a little
Oh,
bit.
I think he meant like injured.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Bassett right now. I was about to give him praise, but he just let back-to-back hits in the 6th. But Bassett's been getting hit a little bit his past couple starts. Yeah, his ERA bumped up. His record.
He had a very strong start,
yeah,
and then
he flattened out. But right now, I was going to give him credit because he's pitching a good game right now with 1 out in the 6th. But now 1 out in the 6th, it's runners on the corners for the Brewers. So I was going to say, but we'll see how this inning winds up. But yeah, Edwin Diaz, this is the guy you traded for.
100%.
Finally, it took 2020, 2021, and now 2022 to.
No, 19 was his first season.
No, 19. So, yeah, they got him in 19. So 19, 20, 21, 4th year as a Met.
Yeah.
And you're finally getting the Edwin Diaz you traded for. And he's the only, I think, reliable option out of this Mets bullpen right now. I don't trust any one of these guys coming out of the pen right now. Maybe you see a starter get bumped to the bullpen when the 2 big guns get back. Maybe Peterson goes back. Maybe McGill goes back or Walker goes back.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be whoever's playing like the worst at that time, I guess, would go into the bullpen, which would help. That would add to the bullpen, but I don't want that to be the only move. Like I don't want that to be the addition. I want to see the Mets make a deal at the deadline, and they've been active ever since Buck Showalter has been here and Billy Epler has been the new GM. They've been. I mean, you saw obviously we've talked about it a bunch of times. Marte, Kana, Escobar, Scherzer. They've been active. So and we have an owner that doesn't care about the luxury cap and want to spend money. So I'm fully expecting it. I'm fully expecting them to address the worst part of this team.
And this Mets season has been very it's out of nowhere. No one really expected this. They're playing great, but a big thing is obviously Pete Alonso has gone from a pure just power hitter, just pure power, to a power hitter that can put the ball in play as well. His average is in the mid 280s, I'm pretty sure. And before he was like a 250 batter that he'll hit you 30 home runs and he won't play you any good defense. Now, yeah, the defense is still not great, but
he's batting 290 right now. He's got 2 hits today.
That's you get a power bat that can hit for contact, who can, if the power's not working, he can go the other way with the ball. He's hitting for average. Pete Alonso's having a great season right now, even though the dig I took at him before because of his defense. But yeah, Ringle, what'd you say about his RBIs? He has an RBI today on a single, I think in one of the earlier innings.
Tied Jose Ramirez for the MLB lead.
Yep.
He's also like climbing the all-time home run leader chart for the New York Mets, like incredibly fast.
It's not that hard to do.
But it's like shocking how quickly he's climbing those ranks. And like you said, yeah.
Well, when you start off with 53,
I know
in the rookie season, it's a big jump.
Dude, hey, and he's climbing that quickly, and one of them was a shortened season.
Yeah,
there you go. Wow, look at Jordan.
See, I'm not biased. I don't just rip the Mets to rip them.
But you have a lot lot of fun doing it.
Oh, I do.
Okay,
that doesn't make me biased. I just love ripping on the Mets.
It leaves a bad taste in
that's
your
fair.
mouth.
Here's a double play to end the inning. Look at the Mets go, and I split by Alonso at first.
Alonso's.
I wouldn't trust him with a short hop.
He's improving.
Right
He's improving his game in a lot of different areas.
He makes plays. He's not a Gold Glove. At least not yet. Hopefully he can be one day, but he does make plays. He's not a liability.
I wouldn't say he's a liability, but he's not. He's just there at first base. I would say.
Okay, but you're gonna take a guy who's just there for what he's doing at the bat.
I'm not saying you don't take him. I'm not saying you don't take him at all. I'm not saying that. But I rip the Mets when they earned a ripping, and I'll go a little bit extra on them because of the Mets. But I give them credit when credit is due, and they get much deserved credit for the season. My only problem with them, other than the fact that I love ripping on them, is their bullpen. And Ringle and I agree, and probably everybody agree.
Yes,
that for the 15,000th year in a row, it needs to be addressed at the deadline.
I know,
because it will kill them in the late September games, and especially in the playoffs. If you don't get linked out of your starter, you'll get shelled with the weak bullpen. But Mets, they're doing very good right now. But I'm trying to look up anything on Scherzer and deGrom. Pretty sure Scherzer's
set
doing
for
pretty
a
well
simulated
right
game.
Yeah,
set for
Thursday.
a simulated game.
Thursday.
Yep. And I believe deGrom started throwing.
I think he spoke today, and he said that like he hopes to get back soon and everything. So there's no setback that he mentioned.
Yeah, I
think
hate
so.
that word "soon" though, because it's so like
it's
so
fake.
subjective.
Yeah,
it's like,
with him,
is it soon compared to the entire timeline of you being out? Is soon like 3 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Is soon a week? Could be anything. So it's better to just kind of like, put that information in the back of your head and just forget about it for a little bit. Otherwise, it's going to take forever for them.
With Scherzer, obviously, hopefully he gets back a little bit before the All-Star break, or at least right after. With deGrom, I'm hoping it's not too much longer after the All-Star break.
Yeah,
I want him back. I want to see that there's any like long-lasting effects. That like he's like I'm not going to say he's going to suck, but like, is he going to be as dominant as he's been? Because what he's been doing over the last 3 years is like ridiculous and unmatched. So like, I'm nervous as a Mets fan if he can get back to that level of pitching, because it's a hard thing to do when healthy.
But there is some comfort in knowing how the Mets have played without their two of the best starting pitchers in baseball. I mean, the Mets, 62% of their games this season have been played against teams that are above 500, and we are thriving. So, if there's any comfort in that, it's the fact that like guys have stepped up and guys can step up if these guys ever go down again, because it's a long season.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about these guys coming back. We have the All-Star break, yes, but there's still a lot of baseball to be played in the second half, which is why you can never get too high or too low, especially as a baseball fan, because the season is so long. We could be looking at extended absences for these guys in the second half of the season. We can look at extended absences for guys like Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, knock on wood, obviously, but it's always a possibility. And so I think the measure of a good team is what they do when adversity strikes and how deep our squad is, whether it's the bullpen, the starting rotation, or just on the bench. Guys have to be able to step up, and they've done that thus far, and they may have to do it again.
And my thing with the Mets every year is because they've never proven it. Can they sustain it? Looks very good right now. This is a little bit of a different feel than most other years.
Yeah, it
but
does.
You got to be able to sustain it. And they have not proven that in the longest time to be able to sustain a great season from April to September.
You meant, yeah, I agree with that too, Jordan. And you mentioned before that, like, going into this year, no one saw this coming, and I agree. No, I didn't see this coming either. But you had a little more hopes this year just because of all the new additions, just because they literally reworked at least 50% of this lineup, and you hope that it would finally work. How many times have we gotten free agents and they just don't pan out? How many times? So when we've got Marte and Kana and Escobar and maybe not Scherzer, because Scherzer, but when we got those guys, it's like, all right, we got them, cool. But when they come to the Mets, are they going to play, or are they just going to be washed up? Like, that's always the case.
It's
here.
not very often that we have such, like, quote unquote, instant success, right? After retooling, rehauling nearly the entire team. So that's good to see. And you'd like to think that this team will only get better as the season goes on. Obviously, barring injury, you'd like to think that things would continue to go up. But again, long season.
Long season, got to sustain it.
So now we go to the Yankees. So the Mets are the best team in the NL. Yankees best team in the AL. Great time, like I said at the beginning of the show, to be a New York sports fan. The Yankees are it just keeps getting better and better with them. Beginning of the season, they were 500. It was like it felt like, oh, this is the same old Yankees as last year. But boy, were we wrong. There was a lot to be complaining about going into the season about how the team was built, because we saw it as the same thing. But they trusted the guys they had. They trusted the system, and they thought last year they were better than what they were last year. And they're just unstoppable right now. Everything seems to be clicking. The pitching staff is unreal. Like during the right before the season started, it was like, oh, can the Yankees get Manaea or Montas or someone to help out that starting rotation? Because all we have is Cole and a bunch of no names, but not a bunch of no names, but like not number twos.
You weren't confident in Severino coming back off of the.
You have 5 number ones right now on this team. 5 number ones on this pitching staff right now. Arguably, it's them and the Dodgers, the best 2 pitching staffs in the league, and the Yankees have one of the best, if not the best, bullpen in the league. Despite Weiska pitching horribly and then getting injured, Chapman pitching horribly then getting injured, and Chad Green having Tommy John surgery. Despite that, their bullpen's still one of the best in the league, if not the best. And this is the same pitching staff as last year, the starting 5 minus Corey Kluber, and look what they're doing. You would argue Garrett Cole is not the best. You cannot argue. You could definitely say Garrett Cole is not the best pitcher on this team right now. Nestor Cortez can start the All-Star game. Any of these 5 guys can start the All-Star game right now. And you know who might start catching the All-Star game? This random guy they got from the Rangers named Jose Trevino that's batting .305. That's got 2 walk-off wins for them this year. The Yankees have had this weird thing about them. They get the no names, and they turn them into household names. The Luke Voigts, the Gio Urshela's, now the Jose Trevinos. Matt Carpenter was sitting on a couch last month and now is batting .300 with like a 1,100 OPS and 6 home runs.
We've talked about this. I think it was the last show. Being on the Yankees, it forces you to rise to a certain level. And if you can't rise to that certain level, then you're no longer on the team.
And the Yankees, we rip the analytics, and trust me, I've ripped their analytics up and down, but they find guys that are underused on one team and they know how to exploit on their team. Another example is the best closer in the league right now, Clay Holmes. The guy's ERA is Jacob deGrom level. Of course, Jacob deGrom's a starter, but I'm just putting it into perspective. The guy's unhittable right now. Now that I say that, he's going to come into the 9th inning today, and I'm going to hit it with the old Jordan whammy, and we're going to blow it, or something's going to happen because Wandy Peralta just like Wandy Peralta is another guy. I think they got him for the Giants for Mike Tauchman, and now he's pitching to almost a sub-2 ERA in the bullpen. When you have Chapman, Green, and Weiska all out.
Peralta's got a 1.64 right now.
Oh, it's unreal.
So then my question to you is this. You have a lot of things clicking right now at the same exact time. Do you see it being sustainable? the way that things
Yes.
are going for the starting rotation.
Yes, because the pitching last year was good, was really good last year. Now it's great. So we've seen the pitching from bullpen to starting rotation be good. The hitting, it's different. It's completely different this year. They're winning games 2-0 off fielders' choices and walks, and then they're beating the Tigers 18-4 off home runs.
You have a
Or-
plus
or the
127
Cubs.
run differential.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
Or they're like the Cubs. They beat the Cubs 8-0 one game off 6 solo home runs, and the next day they beat them 18-4. And then the first game of the series, they beat them 2-1 on a Jose Trevino walk-off. So it's not the home run or bust anymore right now. They're winning every different way possible. Everyone's contributing. And then there's a guy that's playing, I think, center field tonight. It might be DHing. I don't know if you guys heard. Is by far right now the best player in the league right now. It's unreal what he's doing, and it's just making that contract situation that much more difficult. We mentioned hitting for power and average. Judge hitting with over 1,000 OPS. He's on pace for 60-something home runs.
He's hitting 314 right now.
Yeah, he's on pace for.
He's over 3 today, but he's hitting 314.
You got to bench him. He's hitting 314, 24 home runs, leads the league by a wide margin, 48 RBIs. He leads the league in slugging, home runs, and OPS plus, and total bases. And it's just an absolutely sensational season from Aaron Judge. All hopes he can stay healthy, and if he stays healthy, it makes this contract dispute that much harder at the end of the year.
This was his plan, though. This is no surprise to Aaron Judge.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Judge said no to the Yankees extension and bet on himself. And boy, is he betting on himself. He's having the best season of his career so far this season.
It's just unreal what he's doing. We see all the projections all the time, but the projections are just absolutely absurd. Some might say he will be the real home run leader because Bonds hit 71, but we know the Bonds situation. But the Yankees, it's an absolutely ridiculous pace. They're on pace to break the pace. Everything's on pace to break the I think the Mariners of 01 or 2000 have the most wins ever in a season. And the Yankees are on pace to win 119 this year. That would break the record. This season's very comparable to that 98 Yankees team that was on the same course. They could have they could have had the regular season record at the time in 98, but the 98 Yankees had a horrible September, which set them back, but they wound up winning the World Series.
It's funny you mentioned that. A stat from Katie Sharp. She's like the statistician at Talking Yanks. You familiar with her? You know her?
Yeah, no, Katie. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so she tweeted out that the Yankees are the 7th team in the World Series era since 1903 with at least 44 wins and a plus 127 run differential or better in their first 60 games. So you got the 2022 Yankees, you got the 98 Yankees, the 55 Dodgers, and then the Yankees back in the 50s and the 30s. So, yeah, just a historic season already, and there's room for them to grow and set more records, but there's also room for them to kind of tail off a little bit, which I don't know if this type of success is going to be sustainable over the course of the entire season. They're playing at because they're playing at such a high
119
level.
win pace is hard to sustain.
But that's
but
what I'm saying.
105 wins is definitely reasonable.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's not possible, but
Yeah.
they are going to come down a little bit. It's inevitable.
Thing is, when they come down, though, they still win.
Of
When
course.
the bats go quiet, they're still winning. And when the pitching, that Minnesota series, the starting pitching was bad. And they still outslugged Minnesota in Minnesota, the first place Twins, and won the series. So is 119 realistic? Right now, it looks like it, but if I'm a betting man,
maybe
that's
110, maybe 110 more or less.
105 wins, first place in the AL East with a first round as the number 1 seed. That's definitely. I'm putting my money down for that right now. If you're the Yankees,
I mean, this is the Yankees that we all thought they were at the beginning of last year, right? Beginning of last year, we thought. I mean, minus obviously guys like Trevino and whatnot, but like LeMahieu, Judge. I mean, Rizzo's not really hitting that much average, but he hits home runs.
Yeah,
Stan's,
home runs, RBIs.
Stan's hitting for average also. Gleyber Torres better. So this is the Yankees that we know of, and they still managed to win 92 games last year, but it was a very lackluster 92 wins
last year.
And it was very concerning last year, and it was concerning at the beginning of this year too, in the very early days. but now they're looking like the team they were always supposed to be.
That they always felt they were.
Yeah.
How many times last year did we see Cashman or a player come out or Boone and say, we're better than this, we have so much talent, and we would rip them because, like, look at what we're
it's like,
seeing.
yeah, what are you looking at? Because we're looking at something totally different.
Yeah. And I said this before the season. Last year, the Yankees won 92 games, made the playoffs, and played horrible. And they won 92 games, made the playoffs. So what if they played good? What would it be like? Now they're playing unreal. And despite this success, there are 3 guys in their lineups right now I want to highlight. Isaiah Falefa, who's still, he's good, has 0 home runs. He might hit 0 home runs all year. But he's still, I'm not ripping him. I'm not ripping him.
Fine.
I just want to bring that up.
You're not paying him to hit home runs.
Exactly. 0 home runs. Then you have 2 automatic outs in Joey Gallo and Aaron Hicks. So 2 points there. 0 home runs from Falefa. And 2 automatic outs in Gallo and Hicks, and they're still running away with the league lead in home runs, despite those 3 things. And despite 2 automatic outs in the lineup, and sometimes 3 if Trevino has an off day, and Higashioka's in, they have 40-something wins right now. So you have 2 holes guaranteed in the lineup right now that are automatic outs, and you're still first place in the league. So, and that's going to be addressed at the trade deadline. I don't see that being addressed tomorrow night. I don't see that being addressed at the end of the month. You look at the standings right now in this league. There's a lot of teams around 500, but because of the dumb extra wild card team, the 3rd team, there's a lot of teams just still chilling. Like, hey, we can make a push to the wild card right now. So no one's going to be selling except for like the Royals or like the Orioles and the Reds and the Pirates. But even those teams, they're going to wait to the 11th hour. And so are teams like the Yankees. They're going to wait to the 11th hour so the price goes down. Because right now, Yankees go to the Royals, who are like, I think, one of the worst teams in the AL, and they ask for Benintendi. They're going to be like, yeah, give me your number 3 and 5 prospect. They're going to be like, whoa. Let's wait till the trade deadline so I can give you my 7-13 prospect. You know what I mean? Because it's weird. We always see these big names float around and like, oh, Yankees have to give up top dollar for these guys. Then when the trade deadline comes around, we always see these big names moved.
Yeah, go for
like prospects we never heard of. Never heard of. That's just how it goes.
I have a question for you, Jordan. How do you
know?
All right.
Well, let's see what he has to say.
No, that's fine because he doesn't like Judge in center field. So that
go ahead.
Well, that's my question. Do you think Judge has been playing in center field for like pretty consistently as of late? I don't think that's the best thing for the Yankees because at least playing at home, he's got right field. He's got the wall at his back. Doesn't have to run too much. He's a big guy. Could get injured. I think the Yankees should try to find more of an everyday center fielder and get Judge back to right because you don't want to cause any injuries to him or anything like that. And it's kind of tough with the outfield that they have now. With Stanton, you want a DH. You want to play. With Gallo too, he's good defensively, but he can't play center. So like, I get right now, Judge is the only.
Why Gallo can't play? I thought he could play center, but I guess not.
I get now, Judge is the only guy to play center, so like I'm not killing them for it. But if I'm a Yankee fan, I don't want him there the rest of the year.
It's a temporary fix. And he's still very good at center. It's a temporary fix, but with like his body type, he's
not.
Gigantic.
He doesn't have the body
not Cedric
for it.
Mullins,
he's
not like tall and lanky. He's tall and ripped to shreds. So center field is a lot of ground to cover. It's a temporary fix that's working right now. But the center fielder is going to be the top priority. Like the Mets is the bullpen. The center fielder is the top priority. And the thing is, as much of an automatic out as Gallo, I'll live with Gallo. Why? Because he plays very good defense.
Yeah, but you get that center fielder, you don't have to live with. Gallo could be a guy off the bench. I guess.
Who's your outfield then?
Judge Stanton and whoever the new center fielder.
But Stan's not playing left field every single game.
I know.
Who's your everyday left fielder?
I know.
Exactly. It's going to be Gallo then. Even though Gallo's an automatic out and he's an automatic strikeout for the most part, he runs the base as well and he plays great defense. So that's why I'll take him over Hicks because Hicks is an automatic out.
Well, I'll take Gallo over Hicks as well. Yes. We all know we all hate Hicks.
And I trust Gallo to fall into a pitch opposed to Hicks falling into a pitch and hitting a home run. Even it's not much of a compliment to Gallo, but
I know.
I'd be surprised. Hey, the Braves did it last year. The Braves remade their whole outfield at the trade deadline last year with Duvall and Soler and I think one other guy.
I mean, but Stanton could play left field more than not. He's capable of doing it. He started his career in Miami. There was no DH.
He's 30 now, and he was injured already this year. You know how the Yankees are with that.
Okay, but the Yankees are like that with Judge too, and they're throwing him out in center.
Yeah, because he's Aaron Judge.
But he's got just as much of an injury history as Stanton.
But he's a much better outfielder than Stanton.
Yes.
Much better. He's one of the best outfielders in the league. And you know the Yankees with their injuries, especially with Stanton specifically, with nursing Stanton. I much I would like him to be a regular outfielder. Like if there's a 6 games in a week, I'd like to see him out there 4 times. But they're not going to do that.
I know.
So that's why I see them living with Gallo in left and just finding a replacement in center. But it's possible. It's possible, and it's definitely doable to find replacements at the deadline in center and left field, and maybe another bullpen arm just for good. I don't know, because Chapman, I don't know what he's going to come back as, and you lost Chad Green for the whole year, so maybe you could find a replacement for Chad Green. It won't be the end of the world if you don't.
It's an opportunity to eliminate a question mark if you get somebody like that.
Like what? What are you talking about? Bullpen or outfield? Oh yeah,
bullpen guy.
Yeah, because it's just a replacement for Chad Green. But if you don't replace Chad Green, again, it's not the end of the world.
I said that, and your face just like contorted.
Because I didn't know if we were still talking outfield or bullpen.
Well, you had just mentioned bullpen, and I spoke immediately after. So
I know, but it could have been broad. I didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't know. I just wanted to clear it up.
We're just not clicking tonight.
No,
That's okay.
I know. I think it's the new apartment.
It's a new space. It's the first show in a while.
It's been a couple weeks.
We have some growing
and I
pains
hate
tonight.
you, so that's another reason.
And
why.
that feeling is reciprocated. So
they have mutual hatred towards one another. But now it's time for my favorite segment of the show. We're gonna wrap it up with the NBA fun.
Talking about.
Oh wait, you forgot? I would have just ended the show. Damn it!
I mean, we wrote it already.
You wrote it in the title. You can't take it out.
Did I? Yeah, we did write it in the title. All right.
I have watched.
Didn't you write it in the title too?
I just copy and pasted it, Joe Ringle. So you send me the title. I copy and pasted.
So it's in there.
Let's talk about
Even
it.
So I've watched the grand total of 0 seconds of this NBA Finals. I've been watching playoff hockey.
It's been a good series.
I know Steph Curry's playing well. I know Klay Thompson's not playing to what Klay Thompson, but Game 6 Clay's coming up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Andrew Wiggins had a good game.
The fact that Game 6 Klay exists
I know.
makes me feel warm and fuzzy.
I love basketball.
Fact that Andrew Wiggins is playing well.
I saw it on Twitter yesterday.
2 straight solid games out of Andrew Wiggins, who
I know Draymond's causing a lot of problems too. Draymond's being a lunatic.
Well, Draymond was playing terrible basketball until the last game or so, where he really turned it on. But the thing with Draymond, and you know this if you're a basketball fan, is that the numbers don't tell the whole story in terms of what he brings to the floor. He's a guy whose presence makes a very big difference. He's the guy that's going to get under the skin of the opponents. He's going to take a technical foul. He's going to argue with the refs. He's going to get in people's faces. He's the kind of guy that brings a certain gritty attitude and culture to that Golden State Warriors team. This is a good series. I think you're faulting yourself if you're not watching it.
I will willingly fault myself.
No, it's been a good series, and going into it, I thought that the Warriors were going to handle Boston pretty easily. I've had mixed feelings about the way the series has gone. I think after last night, it is painfully obvious that the Golden State Warriors just have too much firepower. Boston's defense is incredible under first-year head coach Ime Udoka. They have a lot of great role players who are playing fine basketball at this time. Even Pritchard, Robert Williams' presence on the floor as a defensive powerhouse. He's been incredible. Al Horford has played very strong basketball. But really, when you look at Boston, it comes down to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. You have to get 25 to 30 points from Jason Tatum on every single night, and you need Jaylen Brown to be the 1B to Jason Tatum's 1A. You have to. Jaylen Brown scores 25, Jason Tatum scores 30. That's 55 points. Where are you getting the other 50 points from minimum to compete with the Golden State Warriors, who on any given night, you have, let's say, 3 or 4 guys that could put up 30. Andrew Wiggins is capable of putting up 30. He's probably the least likely to do it. Jordan Poole has played fantastic basketball this season. He can put up 30. Klay Thompson, we all know what he can do despite coming back from injury. He's still elite. When he gets hot, he is hot. And then Steph Curry is on a completely different planet. So the Golden State Warriors just have too many offensive weapons that makes it really difficult for even the best defenses like Boston to lock down. And I think last night you saw that. You saw Boston run out of steam. You saw Boston get fooled by Draymond, who played incredibly great basketball. Steph Curry, of course, was despite this was the crazy thing, and this is an exact. This is a perfect way to illustrate my previous point. The Warriors can beat you in so many different ways. Steph Curry went 0 for 9 from 3 last night. It's the first time that's happened in years. And they still won convincingly. Why? Because Klay Thompson went off in the third and fourth quarter. Andrew Wiggins had, I think, 26 points, which is his second most he's ever had in the playoffs. This is just a team that can hit you from all angles. And like the Lightning, Golden State Warriors have experience. They have been
Good
here.
crossover.
They have been here before. You hate me, but
Joe
you
was
give me
listening
the-
before. He was listening.
You
And
made
you were listening now. What does that say?
All right,
Hey.
we're coming.
Bring it-
We're coming a long way. Literally 4 minutes ago, we hated each other. Now we're back. To
Do you
seeing
love
eye
me
to eye.
though?
No.
Okay, he likes
What a
me.
drama this has
He
turned
likes
out
me
to
a
be.
lot. But yeah, I mean, it's been a great series. I've enjoyed it. I don't really have a horse in the race. Even as a Knicks fan, I just think that it's hard to root against guys that are playing for Boston right now. I like them as players. I wouldn't mind seeing them win, but it really does feel like the Golden State Warriors are going to get another one. And the crazy part about this is that the Golden State Warriors dominated the league for a handful of years. And then COVID hit. And you had a couple of seasons where they were absolute
The
garbage.
worst team in the league.
And that was in large part because they didn't have Steph Curry and Klay
Mhm. Yeah,
Thompson obviously
injuries.
missed
Yeah.
multiple seasons.
And in
So-
basketball, you lose that one or two guys.
Yep.
Your team is
Exactly.
Your team
And
might as
so-
well be the worst team in the league.
And so during that time, the Golden State Warriors drafted James Wiseman, Moses Moody, and blanking on the third guy. Somebody help me out. My point is,
Poole?
No.
No,
Well, they did get Poole, but
You think I'm going to help you out? I know
Moses
like 4
Moody.
players.
Jonathan Kuminga
Oh,
and,
Jonathan
and
Kuminga.
James.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
had
Well,
him in the back of
I
my
knew
head.
you
I was
had
gonna
it. I knew
say.
you had
I
it.
was going to say
So,
Jonathan Kuminga.
My point is that it's just amazing that the Golden State Warriors can dominate the league, then go from being just in the dumpster in terms of standings, right, to now being set up to, one, possibly win the championship tomorrow night or Thursday night, I'm sorry, and then be set up for more success after that with the veteran pieces that they have and the young talent that they have on the team. It's just incredible organizational structure by the Golden State Warriors, and yeah, I'm just very impressed. And I'm also sad that basketball is almost on its way out. But
Well, this team won 73 games without Kevin Durant, and
Yeah.
then they got Kevin Durant, won another one.
mm-hmm.
Like they didn't even need him to be this good, and now they're back. It's like
But
they are the team of this decade. Like
they are, and I also don't think like they're all that hated compared to other teams that have dominated like they have. And I think that's large part because they built what they have. I mean, aside from Kevin Durant,
yeah,
this is a
those
team that
years.
drafted Klay Thompson. This is a
Mhm.
team that drafted Jordan Poole, obviously drafted Stephen Curry. They've done a lot of things right. And I think they have a very likable squad. Draymond, for example, like, look, Draymond is a guy that you absolutely hate to play against, but if he's on your team, you love him.
Mhm.
And that's a difference maker. And not every team has that. You could argue Marcus Smart is the Draymond Green for Boston, but he doesn't play like Draymond Green. This team is just clicking. And I think that they are going to get it. If it's not Thursday,
is
it'll
this
be game
4 now
7.
for them if they win?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, and
Before.
that's 4 since like 16, something like that.
Yeah, just complete domination. Aside from those 2 off years.
Yeah, that's 4 championships if they win this from 2016. Let's just say, I don't have it off the top of my head, and that's with having 2 like close to last place finishes, right?
Mhm.
1 or 2 they had.
They were. I forget what picks they had. I think they had picks. They had pick 2, and then maybe they had pick 7.
Yeah, in those back-to-back seasons, and then they
Yeah.
just get it. Everyone's healthy and they're back.
Yeah, it's the way it goes sometimes. But Jordan, That's all the basketball that I want to talk about.
Thank God.
So I appreciate your
I have a
patience.
fun fact here. Jose Altuve, Stanton LeMahieu, Aaron Hicks. Who has the best on-base percentage?
Give me the names again.
Aaron Hicks, Jose Altuve, DJ LeMahieu, Giancarlo
I
Stanton.
mean, judging from what you're saying,
That's a fun fact.
yeah.
Is it Aaron Hicks?
It's
It's
Aaron
Hicks.
Aaron Hicks is 45th in the league in on-base percentage, right behind Trey Turner and George Springer. It's very weird.
So it's a weird fact.
It's not fun because I don't like him.
It's
I don't want him
it's not
to.
fun.
Well, does Hicks plays less than they do?
Yeah, what's the minimum?
Aaron Hicks
at
has
bats?
51 games. Jose Altuve has 46. Stanton has 48.
Jeez.
Does he
George
walk a
Springer has
lot?
50. He walks a lot. He has his on-base percentage.
The
is
Yankees just
his
knew the Yankees knew stuff that we didn't this
his
year.
on-base percentage
that's
is
the-
miles better than Joey Gallo's. So
Yeah, but what's his OPS? Probably.
it's horrible.
It
in
pro- it probably
600
equals the
620. It's
yeah.
620.
Yeah.
Yeah, because his slugging's terrible.
And what are their OPSs?
880. Altuve 800s.
Okay.
Stanton 800s. Turner 800s. Springer 800s.
There you
Yeah, exactly. But his on-base percentage is 349. That's not bad.
349's average, I think.
He's
I
an
think you want to
average of
but
getting on base.
to get a good on base percentage, you want to be closer to 400, I believe.
But
so it's
he's-
average. It's still average.
But
it's just crazy that it's higher than those players.
Yeah,
I agree,
exactly.
but it's still an average on base percentage. It's
But-
good.
If he had that
It's not
on-base
great.
percentage and he wasn't hitting like 170 with an OPS of 620, then yeah, if his OPS was like 790 and he was batting 240, then yeah, we take it.
Mhm.
But
He hasn't
Yeah.
That's crazy. He's only walked 27 times this season, and Aaron Judge has walked 29 times. So like how is he higher than Aaron Judge? Did you
he's
s-
not higher than Aaron Judge by at all. Aaron
Oh,
Judge is
who-
11th in the league. He's higher than
Who
on
what
base
were the
percentage-
names?
on base percentage. He's higher than LeMahieu, Stanton.
Oh, Stanton.
probably
Okay.
there's probably more that I'm. It only goes to 50. Let's go crazy here. CJ Crone, who's having a monster year, better than Vlad, Nolan Arenado, Alex Bregman, Shohei Ohtani. This is all the guys that Aaron Hicks has a better on base percentage than.
Yeah.
I was when Joe was. I wanted to
What's
look at
I wanna
like,
see-
What's his
I'm-
on base
I'm
percentage?
curious to see what happens at the end of the
his
season.
on base percentage right now is 349.
which
Oh,
is
so why is he not on this list? I'm looking at a list on MLB.com, and Jose Altuve's is 341, and Hicks is not on this list.
Jose Altuve is 347 on ESPN.
All right, well then ESPN must be ahead of MLB, which is a shame. But
That's
Jordan, you
crazy.
also
good for Aaron Hicks. That's crazy, weird, and fun.
I didn't have fun. You guys did.
I had fun.
I just saw a tweet from Steve Gelbs. Jordan, you picked a bad day to go against Chris Bassett because he just went 8 scoreless tonight. Gave him 3
Why did I
hits.
go against Chris Bassett?
Well, you were just saying he had bad, and he did, and he's been bad.
I said he was struggling. But
I know.
but I gave him props. I'm like, he has a shutout through.
I know,
6.
but I'm just saying
then
you
at
just you just picked a bad day to bring up that he's been bad because he
I
had a
brought
very
up
good
he's been
comeback.
bad because he's
I'm not
pitching.
attacking you for it. It's just funny that he had a good day. He had an 8.
I don't find it that funny.
What's your problem with Chris Bassett? Why do you?
I have no,
hate it?
if it was Tyler McGill pitching, I would have never mentioned Chris
Gelb
Bassett.
said after really rough 5-start stretch, Chris Bassett goes 8 scoreless tonight, gave up 3 hits, struck out 7, and walked only 1. So that's good to see for the Mets.
How
That
dare you
That's
Bassett-
great.
Bassett
ill of
may
Good
come
Chris
back.
for Chris
Bassett.
Bassett.
Yeah.
I hope he
And
hope he
good
has a-
for Aaron Hicks, right?
Yeah, good for.
Yeah.
I hope he's gone in July whenever the trade.
He
deadline
won't
is.
be. They love him.
Yeah, they have an obsession with him. But that will do it for this episode of Uncontested Sports on this Tuesday night. Jordan, Joe, and Ringle, as always, at Joe's new apartment, live from. Not going to give away the town. We don't want any stalkers coming after Joe, right?
Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Seldom.
Quinnipiac.
Quinnipiac. We're in Connecticut.
We
Poughkeepsie?
could be anywhere.
We could be anywhere.
We could be anywhere.
We could be in another country like Hawaii.